It's Timothy Green's first day at school.
What's in there? He's about to fall over.
Anything he might need. There's a box of tissues on the bottom and some Band-Aids. There's a whole first aid kit, actually.
Mom, I can handle it from here.
You don't have to be perfect.
Have a great day.
That's too much pressure.
Have the day you have.
To be a perfect parent.
There are two people in the world who want you more than anything. They'll make some mistakes, but they will love you more than you can ever imagine.
There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
This edition of Lancaster Perspective, I'm Mike Miller. My special guest this week, Dwayne Hurst, the varsity girls basketball coach at Berne Union High School. Welcome, buddy.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me here today.
March Madness, right?
Oh, man. It's a crazy time of the year.
This is the time when I just turn the TV on and, I have it set to 3 channels, whatever it is, and just go back and forth. And Katie, the youngest one, walked in and said, "Why are you watching South Dakota State and North Dakota State, whatever?" I said, "Hey, it's basketball."
That's right.
Yeah. We're glad you could join us today.
Yep, glad to be here, and great time of the year, March Madness.
And you've been a coach for a long time, a couple of different schools, and this was your second year at Berne Union, and actually set a record for most wins this year.
Yep, we did. We won 18 games this year. Finished the season 18-6, was second in our division, in the Cardinal division of the Mid-State League, and the kids really did a great job this season, believing in our system and working real hard, and had some good leaders with our seniors. Jessica Grubb.
You had 4 seniors.
Yeah, had 4 seniors. Jessica Grubb, who was our point guard, did a great job of just teaching our younger point guards, in a sense, Riley Snoke and Alexis Lanier, kind of what I want and things like that, and was a good defensive player also for us. So she kind of led us that way on the floor. And then Shelby Walters was our inside presence. Shelby ended the season with 120 blocks, most in the school history, and also puts her, I believe, in the top 30 or 40 in the state of Ohio for blocks in a season. So real proud of that. She was a vocal leader for us, and did a lot of things that way. She had 13 double-doubles this year with double points and double rebounds. So, and then we had Allison Coleman, who shot real well for us from the three-point line, but then also from the free throw line. She led us at the free throw line, shooting at about 74% this year. Did a great job. Defensively was a presence for us on the perimeter. She's close to 5'10", and she would guard a guard most of the time, and that really would cause some teams problems trying to get the ball inside and then also shooting. And then we had Miranda North. Miranda came off the bench for us and gave us some good minutes here and there for us, and just a good, solid, one of those team players. And she's just a real good kid. But that's was pretty much our senior class, right. But then no juniors at all on this team this year. So
now, how was it unusual not to have juniors on the team?
Very unusual. First time I think it's ever happened to me in my 12 years as a varsity coach. Never had that happen. But so it'll be nice the next 2 years. We'll have every kid back, plus we'll add, some additional kids that come in as freshmen and things like that, and kids, from our JV program. So, but, Riley Snoke was another guard for us that defensively is just really a great defender and quick.
Yeah, really quick.
Real quick, and can shoot. She's a left-hander, so that makes it hard, but just a really good player. And then our other junior, Megan Shepard, just a real solid post player for us, getting better and better every time she hits the floor. So really excited about what she's going to be doing in the next couple of years. And then Ariel Lanier was our other sophomore. She played a lot of JV for us, but gave us some minutes at the varsity level also. And then our freshmen, pretty much, we played 2 freshmen all varsity for us. And Alexis Lanier was one of those freshmen, and she did a really good job at the guard position for us. She pretty much played the 2 guard for us. Occasionally would have to play the point guard, but she's a three-point threat, and we think she's going to get better and better at that. And she sees the floor extremely well. And we love to run with the basketball, love to push it up the floor, and we think she's going to make us, a better team that way in the future. And then Lauren Shepard, who made honorable mention, District 11 for us as a freshman. Just a real solid player, probably the best defender we have. And then she played inside for us, and she's kind of a mix. She's a girl that can play inside and also on the perimeter. The thing that we're going to work on developing with her for next year is her perimeter shooting. And once that gets better, she's going to be extremely hard to defend because she can already take you to the basket, and she's going to be a real nice player for us. And then we have 3 freshmen that dressed varsity but played JV. Allie Probasco played JV for us but saw a little bit of varsity time. Madison Ross, probably the fastest kid in that school. She can just absolutely fly up and down the floor. And I had a lot of people, a lot of coaches, their jaw dropped when they saw her fly up the floor. She can really get up the floor. And then Kirsten Mergen, who I think from the perimeter will end up being a great perimeter shooter for us. So good solid group. Very fortunate to have this group for 2 years. Would love to have them all back one more year. Geez, but 18-6 was a good year. But a lot of the kids. I mean, it was the kids that put this together. I've got 2 really great assistants in Lori McCready and Terry Downhour, and you've got to have good people around you if you want to have a good program.
Now, when you, it's almost because Berne Union is such a small school that kids play other sports. Is it difficult sometimes to do all the activities because you have quite a good summer program and you go down to North Carolina, and is it difficult sometimes to keep all those kids focused on?
Well, the thing that I'm finding in my last summer was my second summer with them, so we expanded a little bit what we did on the summer from the previous summer. But the nice thing is, when you've got other, good coaches to work with, because we share the athletes. And, for example, you and I share a lot of these kids. And the nice thing is you and I work together, and we're able to keep these kids, focused for a little bit of time. Now, it is hard for them because a lot of times they're making choices, do I go to this sport or that sport? But hopefully you and I and the other coaches will figure out, okay, can we do this so we can get them all there because they need to be at both places, or all 3 if they're playing in 3 sports. So it's something that they need to work on to get better. And we're fortunate. We've got some really good kids. I mean, one of the things that I haven't said, the GPA of the varsity basketball team this year was 3.87.
Wow.
I had 7 girls with 4.0 GPAs. And so we're in the top 10 in the state of Ohio in all divisions for GPA. So very, very proud of that. I mean, great kids, smart kids. Don't have to worry about eligibility, things like that, because they're going to be eligible. And as you know, that
keeps you up at night.
That can keep you up at night. So, but so very proud of that.
You mentioned that Lauren Shepard made all district or honorable mention. Did you have some others?
We did actually. Jessica Grubb made first team District 11, first team All Mid-State League. She made second team Central District, and just the other day she was honorable mention all states, so all Ohio. So very proud of that. And then Shelby Walters was first team All Mid-State League, second team District 11, third team Central District. So very happy with that. Now she also received an honor of Columbus Dispatch Player of the Week and also the Lancaster Eagle Gazette Player of the Week. So real proud of that. And then Allison Coleman received second team All Mid-State League, also second team District 11 honors. So very, very proud of that. So.
And you're actually going to be coaching in the District 11 All-Star game coming up May 5th?
April 5th. Yeah.
I know it's one that I got to be there. I know that.
this is always a sore subject with me because I hate the groups, but since you brought it up, I was selected by the coaches of District 11 as Coach of the Year for Division 4. So
congratulations.
Well, thank you, and and I give all the credit to the kids and my assistants because they're the ones who get it done on the floor every day.
So you're going to be coaching in that game again? It's like North and South, I guess.
Yeah, North and South is how they do it. They split it up. They have divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first teamers from each of those that are seniors can play in it. If there's a few spots that are not filled with first teamers, they'll then go to the second teamers. So I actually have 2 of my players playing in it. Jessica Grubb and Shelby Walters is playing in it, and also your daughter Katie, right?
Katie will be there. Yep.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is good.
And Morgan Kirkbride from Liberty Union's on the team that I'm going to be coaching, and I'll be coaching with 2 other coaches. So Carl Dufford from Johnstown and the coach from Utica.
Yeah.
So.
Well, fantastic. Well, I know I'll be there.
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
When you talk about going from, you've coached a couple different schools, and do you adapt what you want to do to your team, or do you say this is, we're going to run, or we're going to shoot threes? Or talk a little bit about coaching philosophy for basketball.
Well, pretty much my philosophy is I'm a fundamental and defensive coach. I believe you've got to be fundamentally sound, and defensively you've got to be fundamental. When I came to Berne Union, the big thing for me was to try to make them more fundamental. And we've worked on that. I think you see that, you were able to see that this year. Turnover-wise, we only averaged about 13 turnovers a game, which is pretty amazing. We had a couple games where we had more, but we did a good job that way. And defensively, I'm a man-to-man type coach. I will play a little bit of zone here or there, but I'd say 90-95% of the time we're going to be in man defense. And we work real hard at that. I pretty much try to adapt my players to my system. Now, the one thing I have learned over the years, there's some teams I'm going to be able to run with and some teams I'm not. So sometimes we're going to be more of a set it up and run the offense type team, and some years we're going to be let's push the ball up the floor and stick it in the hole. So and then let's play some good defense in the half court.
Have you ever been in a situation where you're thinking to yourself, is it me or they just don't understand what I'm doing? I mean, is it what's going on here? It's time out.
Yep, there have been times in my career where it's like, you come in every day and it's like, well, we've talked about this since November. It's the middle of January, and we're no farther along. But the nice thing that it's been, this year and even last year, the kids really bought into what we were doing and believe in the system. And that is the important part. If you can get them to do that, that's going to benefit us in the long run.
And next year the MSL is going to change. There's going to be some additions, some deletions, and talk a little bit about that.
That's going to be nice, I think, for all. I mean, Fairfield Christian is going to move into our division along with Grove City Christian. Harvest Prep, hopefully, as long as they have a team in basketball, will be back in. They'll be in every other sport, hopefully in basketball too. Millersport, Berne Union, and Fisher Catholic will round out our division. Now, the only thing is that's only 6 teams, so we only have, in basketball, we'll only have 10 league games. So that means we've got to go get 12 non-league games. So that's been a little bit of a chore. But the other day I finally did firm up my schedule for next year. So it's done. And,
I'm still working on mine. I'm up to 17, but I still got a way to go.
I tell you, it's difficult and hard sometimes. To find teams that are close by. You want them to be competitive games. You don't want to play somebody that's just going to, blow you out, and you don't want to, put people on your schedule that, you're just going to blow out. So you want them to be competitive, but games that you can get better at.
And there are some teams that, and some coaches will do, they'll pick a couple really hard teams just to see how we compare against them. I know there's some local teams that have done that just to see what we can do. Is that something that you try to do? Or?
I try. What I've always tried to do, and used to be you'd have 6, and so what I'd try to do is pick 2 games I felt we could win for sure, 2 games that I felt that, as long as we play well, we'd win, and then 2 games we're really going to have to play well. This is a team where we can kind of gauge where we're at. I'm kind of going at that philosophy, this time, but I'm not splitting it equally, I guess. We've added Liberty Union to our schedule next year, who's a pretty good team. Amanda Clare Creek, who will be good chance they'll be Division II again. So, and that's a pretty good program. Coach Coble does a great job over at Amanda. Yeah. So, and I guess it depends upon the team that I feel like I have coming back to is what I'm going to do. If I feel like we need games where because our league's typically going to be tough year in, year out. You're going to need some of those games because come tournament time and tournament draw, you need to make sure your record is in line so that you can, get the best draw possible to get your team the opportunity to advance.
You might want to explain that just to the viewers, because some people think you're just going to pick a name out of a hat and that's who you play, and it's based on Division 1, 2, 3, 4, who you're playing.
Exactly. And, like in Division 4, with us, there's 20 teams, or there was 20 teams this year. Pretty much what you do is rank each team, from 1 to 20 as far as their seeding goes. The number 1 seed gets the first choice where they want to go on the bracket. After they go, then number 2. So the higher you are in seeding, the better opportunity you have to play somebody that you have a chance to win at least that first game. Plus, you get to pick. Do I want to go against that number 1 seed later on, or do I want to have the opportunity to play the 2 seed, because maybe the 2 seed there's a significant difference between the 1 and the 2. So there's a lot that goes into it that a lot of people do not realize. I do a lot of homework and study a lot of the teams and who they've played and the players that they have to try to give us the best opportunity to advance.
When I know that you obviously spend a lot of time in just preparing and doing those things, but at times do you look at a game and can you watch a basketball game without analyzing the game?
I try to, but the things that I'm trying to pick up is little things that maybe we can do and do better. Like last night, I was watching Michigan play, and what I was watching was the ball screens and how they were hedging screens and how people were slipping the screens and things like that. And we hedge screens and go over top, and we don't want people to get the 3 on us and things like that. But so I watch little things like that and try to pick up little things. One of my favorite teams to watch is Louisville, because I really love Rick Pitino, and I like the things he does defensively. So a lot of times I'll watch his game and his games and try to pick up little things here and there that we can do to make us better and make me a better coach, actually.
There's always the coaches always talk about leadership and who my captains are going to be, and what are some of the things that you look for in a leader or with your captains? I mean, some coaches do it differently. They let the team pick the captain. Some coaches pick them. Just talk a little bit about leadership.
I've done both, actually. I've had them vote, and I've also picked them. And basically, most of the time, if I pick them, if there's a clear-cut leader, I'll pick it. If there seems to be, 2 or 3 people, that can lead, a lot of times I'll let the kids vote. And amazingly, it ends up being the same people. I mean, I could have picked them myself, but a lot of times, you kind of put some of that responsibility on the kids. But leadership is extremely important, and the way you conduct yourself on the floor. And that's what I look at. I don't just look at, how good you are as a basketball player, your basketball knowledge. I look at, what you do in the classroom, what you do off the floor, how you conduct yourself around the other players. Our 3 captains this year was Jessica Grubb, Allison Coleman, and Shelby Walters. Well, Shelby Walters this year received a letter from an officiating crew that they sent to the Ohio High School about her sportsmanship. And if you ever watched us play this year, anytime the ball went out of bounds and Shelby ran and got it, and she didn't throw it back to the official, she ran and handed it to the official. And she did that consistently throughout the year. Well, I tell you, it was very impressive. And to me, when I watch, our games and see that, for her to get that recognition from the officials that they loved her sportsmanship, even when they, maybe would call a foul on her. She wasn't, making a face or making a comment, okay, and she would move on, hand the ball to the official and move on. And that's what we try to teach our kids. You can be a great player, you can play hard, but when you're on the floor, conduct yourself as a good young lady, and and be a good sport. Help other players up, things like that. So when I look to leadership, I look for those things in a player. And I think we've got some good kids, and they demonstrate a lot of that leadership.
You mentioned officials a couple times. I know we. Without going into a lot of detail, at times the evolution of officiating has, there's a big turnover in officials. I've seen it just in the last 4 or 5 years as Katie has gone through that, boy, these are new faces. It just seems like some of the officials are staying with it, some aren't. And I know, for me, it's because I'm deaf in my ears, so I don't listen to a lot of officials, but, sometimes you just think, boy, that wasn't even close.
Well, and you're right. I'm not seeing used to be I would see the same officials a lot throughout the season. I'd see the same crews or a mixture of crews. This year, I probably had the same official or officiating crew maybe 3 times, which, in 24 games is not, not very many times, to where in years past, we'd play, 22, 23 games. I'd probably see the same group of officials, half of that, which is nice. I like walking into a gym or into our gym and seeing faces that I recognize. If you walk in and it's a new face, it's nothing against them. You just don't know them. Right. And now once you know them and they know you, and I think it's important for the official to know you. And I think if they know you and your program, they officiate a whole lot different than they do if they don't know you at all. Because when you say something, there's that respect that they, they give you and you give them. Most officials, 99.9% of them, I can talk to them and there's no problem. They really work hard. They do a good job. We had some really good officials this year, and I was real pleased with our officiating crews.
And again, you had a great year. In your spare time, you're going to school and working on a degree. And
I went back to school finally after all these years, going back to be a teacher and enjoying that. Going to Ohio University, Lancaster, and something that I should have done a long time ago. But now that my kids are out of the house, it's time to take care of Dad, right, and go back to school.
That's it. Well, so what's Dwayne doing in his spare time when he's not in school and he's not coaching?
Well, my wife would say I'm always working on basketball. I'm always watching film or doing something that way. But outside of that, I actually love to do yard work. Mow the grass and stuff like that, and get outside. And I play a little bit of golf, so have a golf league with a bunch of my friends from Berne Union on Wednesday nights. And
where do you guys play?
We actually play at Pleasant Valley. The Wednesday Dozen that's been there for 30-some years. So
the Wednesday Dozen.
Yep. I haven't been in the league that long, but there's some gentleman. There's at least one of them that I know that's been there since its inception.
Wow.
So, but it's a lot of fun.
Now, do you get time to go watch college basketball?
I do, actually. I love watching Ohio State. I'm a big Ohio State fan. And
kind of a down year. Well, not a down year.
They didn't win the Big Ten.
Didn't win the Big Ten.
So it's a down year. Most people would, Northwestern would be real happy with being one game away from winning the Big Ten right now. But I love watching college basketball. Looking forward to to see what happens in the Big Ten tournament tonight. They play Nebraska, and then over the next few days, seeing where they end up in the bracket. they may be a sleeper. They're starting to gel and come along really well. I was looking this morning in the dispatch, they were showing the points for each player, and they are very balanced. Everybody keeps saying, well, they need that second score. Right. Well, a lot of times you don't need the second score if you've got balance. If you've got, 8 kids with 8 points, right, on average, or 7 points on average, you're going to score a lot of points. And, so they may be somebody that might sneak up on somebody and knock somebody off.
This is what happened. One of the other questions I wanted to ask was about in coaching, because I've done this a couple times, and you see a play that works, I like that. I'm going to use that. I mean, I guess what do they say? That's copying is the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah. Well, and that's very true. There's a play that we have that I actually call Sheridan, because I got it from Sheridan. Right. And Coach Fisher. There's plays like that, and that as a coach you pick up anything you can, that can help you. And like you said, it's a form of flattery. I mean, if somebody sees us do something and they like what we do, go ahead and use it. Yeah. That's great. I mean, if it'll help you, that's wonderful.
We just have a few minutes left. Time has absolutely flown by. I know you have a summer program going up. Young kids, advice to little first, second, third, fourth graders coming up that want to apply?
Well, my advice to the young kids and also even youth coaches is fundamentals and defense. Work on those things. If you work on ball handling drills, dribbling, form shooting, not necessarily making the basket, but how to do it properly, and defense, you will become a very good player. If you, as a youth coach, if you worry about, what play you're going to run and things like that, those kids aren't going to develop as fast and as quick. But work on those fundamental things, on a regular basis. You can do ball handling drills in your bedroom. You can do ball handling drills in your basement, throughout the winter and things like that. That's what's going to make you better. I've seen a huge difference in our girls just over the last 2 years with the ball handling drills we do. We do them every single day in practice. And, I think our players sometimes like, wow, coach, we're doing, and it's like, that's how important they are. But I think after they see this, they've seen the success, they understand how important they are.
One of the talking about, I don't know if you all remember Pete Maravich.
Oh yeah, LSU, Pistol Pete.
Before there was a 3-point line, he averaged 44 points a game. But I used to read some of the drills that his dad, Press Maravich, used to, and Pete said that one of the greatest drills that he did was running up steps and dribbling on the steps, and then backing back down. And I thought, I've tried it. I mean,
it's not easy.
I'm not the coordinator, but I just can't imagine running up steps and doing that. And dribbling a ball outside of the window while his dad would drive. He'd be dribbling the ball down the road and things like that.
My word.
Yeah, I just. But it does. Fundamentals are the key to success. And you had a great year. Again, 18 and 6. 18 and 6.
Yep.
And. Hopefully improve on that. Does that kind of bother you next year that gee, I won 18 this year? I mean,
well, like we've said, this senior class has raised the bar, and so now what we have to do is continue on that path and take it to another step.
Well, good luck. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll be right there next to you.
Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Appreciate you helping out down at Berne Union too, coaching our junior high.
No problem. Glad to do it. Thanks for tuning in today, this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller, and remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family. Ooh. So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.